Hello everybody, welcome to episode 15 of the Max Cape Speedrun series. My name is JCW, and after hitting 200 mil in every skill in my level 3 skiller, I decided to set a new goal for myself. Achieve a max cape in the shortest gameplay time possible. There are 0 restrictions, so I can use whatever I want to hit my ultimate goal, maxing within 35 days of playtime. Yo guys, we are finally at the proper Sepulchre grind. Since I am only level 72 agility at the moment, the difficulty of this hard skilling content isn't that bad until level 82 plus. In my opinion, anyone can easily do floor 1 to 3 with some practice. But I plan on making a guide separately at some point, whether it's during the series or after, I don't know yet. But I will go very in depth with it outside of the series. Anyway, I have quite a few things to explain going on in this clip. For those that don't play RS or who have never stepped foot inside here just like me before the series, if you're wondering why my screen looks like Candy Crush, those are just tile markers that I use to help make sure my laps are tick perfect. If you wish to use them, I will leave a link in the description below, but be aware that for the sake of this episode, it's only for floor 1 to 3 for now. Now, jumping into what's actually going on. This agility course is a relatively complicated course with a lot of obstacles. There are 5 floors, each unlocked in intervals of 10, starting from level 52. For floor 1 to 3 specifically, each floor you enter, you don't always enter at the same spot. Floor 1 and 2 have 4 different paths that you can spawn on, and floor 3 has 2 different ones. This means that every full lap I do for floor 1 to 3, there are different spawns and obstacles that I must go through. If you look at the obstacles such as darts, thrown swords, and flames, you'll notice that they are all on specific timing. The way this works is that once one person enters the floor, all of them are activated, making it a static floor. The tile markers that I have in each floor are meant for static floors, and this method can sometimes get depressing or frustrating if somebody else is already here, so it's important to have your own world. Now, of course, the reason that I'm crafting while running is so that I'm not being lazy and only running, as that's only half of a workout. Grass touchers like me like to multitask while running for maximum efficiency. That being said, something that might look odd is the Consic runes and vampire dust that I have in my inventory. The reason for both of these is simply for looting floor 3. Each floor has different loot, but every time you do loot, you earn hollowed marks, which once I have 250 of, I can buy a hollowed ring. After many calculations and tests, I concluded that it's worth getting it by only looting floor 3, which of course I wouldn't be doing until I hit 72 agility, which is now. As I said earlier, there's 2 spawns on floor 3, the east side, which requires me to use 2 vampire dust, or the west side, which requires me to cast enchant spell on a barrier. Behind each of these is a nice coffin for me to loot, which I'll be showing right now for looting the east side since that's where I spawned in this clip. It's close to the end, so in terms of going out of my way to ruin the tick perfect lap and static floors and such, it doesn't mess with it that much. The west side is similar in terms of being located near the end. Unfortunately, the one thing I did find out from this is that every time you loot a coffin you gain some thieving XP. This means I overdid my thieving XP. It's 200 XP per coffin, so if I loot roughly 63 times for 250 marks, I'll be getting a free 12,000 thieving experience. Not that bad considering the speedrun will still be 900 hours long. Here I am about to hit 74 agility. The great thing about this clip is that I was able to do a decently long session of only looting, to give you guys a rough idea of how long it takes to get a hollowed ring. I may have to bring out the notepad for this. In terms of real hours, it's roughly 3 hours of looting in order to get 250 marks when you only loot floor 3. However, take a look at my XP on the screen. Let's assume I average 59.5k an hour for 3 hours. The best rate you can get without looting is 67k an hour. And it is realistic to hold 66 to 67, meaning I get 10% less XP than the maximum in this session. So do the math here. 10% of 3 hours is 18 minutes, meaning to get this ring, I use 18 minutes on my grind to 99 agility. Oh, and just a quick side note, this is what looting on the west side looks like. Here I am actually hitting 74 agility, by the way. So, about this special ring. Essentially, it allows me to fail and not want to log out because the recovery time from failing is reduced. Here's an example of me failing with the ring equipped. And here's another example of me failing without the ring equipped. I don't know if that seemed like a big difference to you guys, and I don't know the exact number of ticks difference, but let's say that's 4 ticks. It sounds small, right? Remember what I said about static 4s? Sometimes when obstacles go off, you can't catch up for the rest, and you may sometimes have to wait an extra 10 to 20 ticks just to pass that one obstacle. It's what makes pre-started 4s so infuriating. Well, when failing, it's kind of the same issue. Sometimes you'll fail, and when you do, it puts you behind that static 4 that you wanted so bad. This more so happens on floor 4 and 5, and sometimes on floor 3, but when you do fail, those 4 ticks could be the difference between having to stand still and wait for a sword obstacle to pass, or just running through. This means on top of saving the 4 ticks by spawning faster, you also just save an extra 10 or more by not having to wait for the obstacle. Doing this for 160 hours for 99, I pinky promise each and every one of you that failing is realistic and does happen, regardless of how good you are. In that amount of time, you'll more than make up the small 18 minutes you lost for getting the ring. Here we go guys, 30% of the way to 75 agility, I have unlocked the hollowed ring. I lost quite a few ticks looking for it in the shop because it doesn't even look like a ring, but maybe that's just me. Despite only wasting 18 minutes total to get the ring, I felt very relieved to have that off my shoulders. Sepulchre is something I like to challenge myself with to always be tick perfect. So getting off the static floors because of that 10 to 12 seconds to loot, delaying my floor an extra 1 to 2 seconds, even though it barely made a difference, it was still annoying to me. So I treated myself to a well-deserved break from the agility prison. I decided to do Lunar Diplomacy now, as I'm going to need Magic Imbue anyway, later on in the series. I do understand that my inventory probably gently hurts some of you as it looks awful, but basically I was trying to get as much firemaking XP throughout the quest as I could. And then when I knew it was time for the boss, I was banking for more stams and food, and I just wanted to make sure that I had enough. There is something in my inventory that's quite critical that I missed. I'll leave you guys in suspense for now, but you'll see the pain very soon. Jumping a few puzzles ahead, I got to the woodcutting puzzle, where I have to beat this guy in a race of chopping log. Of course, somehow, I forgot an axe, so I thought for sure that I was stuck using the shitty tiered bronze axe. As you can see, I feel like it was definitely taking way too long to chop each tree. Thankfully, after my first 4 logs, I finally remembered that I had a teak log and knife in my inventory from when I was training firemaking. Doing the rest of this through 1.5 ticking, it was really fast. Finishing up the log challenge and the final challenge, I was ready for my boss fight. Of course, the bronze axe was not the mistake I made that I was referring to earlier. I promise you guys that this is the reason that I'm a level 3 in my main. Some basic questing knowledge that I don't know is just unreal. I didn't bring any runes in my inventory. I planned to use my 1.5 build toy to kill the final boss. And of course, I was reminded that I'm in a dream and can't unequip my lunar staff for my toy. I have a bad memory from many years ago when I did this quest on one of my alts, where I left to change gear and couldn't figure out how to make the new dream vial or something. So I decided to stay in here just mailing him with my lunar staff because I did not want to risk that. After 2 minutes of me not calling myself fat, I completed the boss and was ready for another decently long quest complete. And that's another one down, landing us at 123 quest points and bringing us to 28 rune crafting. This made me unlock Magic Imbue, so now I can gain some passive magic XP while gaming. Because I typically finish my inventory of Dragonstones by the end of floor 2, I decided to bring Magic Imbue for a passive 15k magic XP every hour. It wasted me 1 inventory slot with Astral Runes, meaning I made 1 less Dragonstone every lap. Here I am hitting 75 agility. Something many of you have been asking is, am I going to be doing the crystal smithing and crafting method? The answer is yes, of course I will. Otherwise it wouldn't be a speedrun. Currently, my crafting XP is 1720k. This is about where I'm good to stop training it normally. The rest of it will be done through crystal smithing. For those that don't know what it is, it's a ridiculously overpriced method in Priv that gives you 10 mil XP per hour in each smithing and crafting. The reason I'm stopping at this crafting XP is because I still gain roughly 980k smithing XP through my infernal pickaxe through mining. So smithing will be complete when I do mining, while crafting has a 980,000 XP head start. Many of you have also been asking, could you help by donating some GP or seed so that I could bank it? Don't worry about it, I already have it banked. What I will ask of you though is to hit the subscribe button. Assuming you already are, let others know so that I can hit my goal of 20k by the end of the year. This was my final crafting trip during Sepulchre, so now I'm going to move on to the next skill to do while running, which we've already done plenty of in the past, Hurdler. Nothing changes in terms of what I'm doing besides the fact that I'm now making pot instead of cutting gems. Here I am hitting 78 agility, followed by hitting level 79 agility. Also, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I stopped casting Magic Imbue at this point, along with bringing Stams. I decided that while I'm only doing 3 floors, it would be best to utilize all of my inventory slots, since I'm making the most amount of times right now. I had a genius Twitch viewer tell me that I could pot share stamina at the beginning of every lap on an alt, so now I do that and never have to worry about stamina. The 2 extra inventory slots essentially equates to an extra 12k Hurdler XP per hour. In my opinion, this is much better than the 15k mage. Following that, here I am hitting 96 Hurdler. And a nice round level 80 agility. I swear I did so good farming for a bit, and then this run I forgot to bring my protection for the trees. You guys know the saying, always wrap it before you tap it. So I logged out until I had protection and then I tapped the trees. This run got me a nice 70 farming. Alright boys, I am proud to say it's finally happening. We're moving on to bigger and harder floors at 82 agility. This is a good point for me to end the episode since I probably need to practice more before continuing. Now I'm no mathematician, but I do believe that this is episode 15, which is an interval of 5, so I should be leaking my playtime during this analysis. Let's dive in to see where we're at. On the left are my stats from 2 weeks ago, and on the right is my current stats. Not that many gains this episode, as I was busy IRL the past 2 weeks with moving and such, but at least it was a good chunk of agility that we chipped at. I think I can go back to weekly episodes now, but I think I still have 1 to 2 more weekends before I'm fully settled and back to full-time gaming. Here is an easier visual to see my gains from the past 2 weeks in terms of levels, along with my current EHP next to it. So, being at 423 EHP, we're currently about 44% of the way to finishing max. Now that we know I'm at 423 efficient hours played, let's take a look at my playtime to see how far ahead I am. After the clusterfuck of Sins of the Father, weird Slayer pathing, etc., here I am at 15 days and 23 hours of playtime. This equates to 383 hours, putting us at a positive 40 hours above EHP. I'm not necessarily complaining about this rate, but it is only 5 hours more than my last analysis. But as long as we don't travel backwards, I think we'll be fine. Anyway guys, here is the long awaited 4-4. Like I said, this is when Sepulchre is actually hard. It didn't help me that I forgot a stamina because I was so used to doing only 4 1-3, and I immediately jumped into this without thinking. So, needless to say, without a stamina and barely prepared at all, I had a horrible start. I wanted to die experiencing this, so enjoy watching. And there you have it, boys. My speedrun to Max Cape series starring a 2 minute and 16 seconds first ever 4-4. For those that don't know, this is about 40 seconds longer than it needs to be. Not having a stamina really made me lose my mind and motivation that lap. Anyways, TY for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys next week. Peace out.